Okay, everyone, welcome to the first in a series of webinars celebrating June's National Healthy Homes Month. It is my pleasure to introduce our speaker, Randall Cantrell, who is with University of Florida Extension. He's going to talk about a very fantastic program that they have in Florida called Homeflow, and you will find that it really covers some really great information on home repairs, home maintenance, keeping your home in good condition, including some of the healthy homes issues that we promote through the National Healthy Homes Partnership. So without further delay, it is my pleasure to introduce Randy Cantrell.
All right, Michael, I appreciate that, and I appreciate everybody taking the time to join us today. I'm going to just sort of start right through the slides here, and hopefully most of them will be self-explanatory. I don't think I'm going to open the big window so I can see the questions. Let's see how that looks. Yeah, that's going to take too much. So anyway, I'll try to open it and look at the questions in the chat boxes as we get later on down the road, but feel free to do that, and maybe Michael can point them out if they do get overloaded, and I'll stop along the way. But anyway, this is going to be an overview, and we'll see more of the Homeflow program later throughout the summer and the fall. I want to let my colleagues have full attribution. It was my brainchild, but without, first of all, we call them extension faculty, but without the extension agent coming and showing me how extension is done, Ms. Sarah Ellis, it would have never gotten off the laboratory bench, and without my colleague, Dr. Victor Harris, it would have remained as a maintenance and energy upgrade program without the relationships and understanding the people that are inside the home. So there's a lot of genesis and evolution that takes place inside here, and you'll see what it takes to make a full-blown extension program work, at least in the state of Florida. There's my contact information, and as Michael said, I think it's going to be recorded so we can all get back to this information as we go. I'll try to make sure I don't start speeding along too much here, but it is a collaboration between a couple of different national programs, as you see with the logos there. I'm going to try and just stay right to the program instead of doing too much ad-libbing here, but first of all, I want to make fully understood that although my Department of Family, Youth, and Community Sciences afforded me the right to take my academic appointment of research and sort of extend it into this realm that we're talking about today, currently I am funded by the USDA NIFA National Healthy Homes Partnership, thank goodness. You can't do things on a shoestring, which I've been trying to, so much obliged there. At the University of Florida Institute for Food and Agricultural Sciences, which you'll recognize sounds very much like NIFA, the Program Development and Evaluation Center has taken it under their wing to make Homeflow a pilot evaluation program. I can't do everything without the help of everybody coming together to put this into Qualtrics, to make this all online, to make it linked and electronic. I would be back in the old school woods trying to figure out how to do paper copies. So thanks to everybody involved, and I'm a little bit early, but it's because I'm departing the country on a research project, so I couldn't wait until June, but we are jump-starting the National Healthy Homes Month, in my opinion, with this kickoff for today. So what does it say that Homeflow is when you actually get into the program? You'll see Gatorade coming out with Gatorade Flow. Well, I can't borrow Flow for Homeflow. Gatorade can't borrow Flow for Gatorade Flow. Flow is a Eastern European psychologist. There's a book called Flow. It is a state of mind, a state of being. It's where everything is clicking on all cylinders, and I just simply added it to the home. When all the occupants, everybody is doing everything that is necessary to make that home and those people working together, that home probably is going to fare, and those folks are probably going to fare better off than when there's not a state of flow. Basically, that's where it all started. I came from industry. I worked for the National Association of Home Builders Research Center. I know what needed to be done. I finally got the latitude to come back to academia, and I tried to get it done. So inside Homeflow, you'll see we're talking about health, whether it's the home, whether it's the occupants, communications, maintenance, operations, energy, efficiency, safety, everything that you understand to be in your field that we work on, it's all in here, but it's not a deep dive, it's an overview so that I can invite my colleagues and everybody out there listening to join me and make this a living program. I want it to grow and grow and grow. So where did it come from? What's inside it? It came from where everything has to start. It's evidence-based. I wrote an academic journal article in Housing and Society in 2013, and then I started to extend it. Everything I do, I'm 40% research and 60% extension. So you start, you put it together, and then you find your partnerships. In 2015, Habitat for Humanity reached out. They're in Jacksonville, Florida, Duval County, Florida. They're called HabiJax, the largest Habitat for Humanity affiliate in the United States. That just simply means they build more homes than any other Habitat affiliate. And they said, look, we have a maintenance program. We really don't need yours. I said, well, this comes as a package deal. They said, well, we're not going to cut your maintenance program out because what you have done is revolutionary because you've bundled it with a relationship and marriage program. And we don't have necessarily a need for the marriage because we have the majority of our new home owner candidates are single family mothers. So go back to the drawing board and try to tailor it toward maintenance and relationships. And we do what our clients ask. So they basically said we are having more and more defaults with what we do is carry our own 0% mortgage for 30 years for low-income families to come out of what could be generational wealth into their first home, what could be a 3-bedroom, $450 payment. And this changes. It's a deal breaker. It's a life-changing event. But we can't have them defaulting because then that puts it into a whole nother market and we sell it on the open market and we lose the Habitat family. We need to have warranties down. We can't have them calling us after the year warranty is over and asking them to us to plunge their toilets, and we can't have callbacks. We need to teach them that this is yours. It's a once-in-a-lifetime deal. So your program is what we're mandating for our candidates to be new homeowners for the first time. Then, of course, my colleagues, Housing Education and Research Association, at the national conference, I presented it. They listened with a critical ear. They gave me reason to believe that there was hope here to take it maybe outside of the state of Florida. I'm getting traction in Florida, but let's see if why not share it with the nation. Anybody that wants to use it can use it. So here's what's inside it. There's obviously a PowerPoint presentation. You've probably hopefully seen the brochure that I've attached to the email that went out. There's MP4 videos. We can't have you out in the middle of nowhere hoping that you have an internet connection. Embedded MP4 videos. There's a workbook that stops the video and says, okay, now the participants, let's go back and reinforce what we just discussed in the video so we can have you take that workbook home and say, yeah, I kind of forgot what they said, but I can look back and see what we worked on in the class. There's a pamphlet. You can pull it right out of your pocket when you're at home and say, how am I tracking my progress? There's a resource guide. So the presenter who's actually going and facilitating the class and teaching the class can go back and read word for word what you're teaching in the class or what you're seeing and listening to on the video, and you can teach yourself all facets of home maintenance, of relationships, and of finance, which is basically the ingredients of Homeflow. And then there's built-in evaluations, which is through our program evaluation, which is all online through Qualtrics, which is essential for obviously any grant program, but also for any extension program, we've got to show not just what you learned through pre and post tests, but behavior change. So we have follow-up surveys as well. So here's your initial publication. I know it says 2015, but that's when it went online. We were changing over with Housing and Society, but that was the 2013 publication. That's where it all began. This is when I began with HabitJacks. These are the partners, and that's exactly how they sign all their emails, in partnership with the University of Florida Institute for Food and Agricultural Sciences. I mean, it is a true partnership, and they get reports. Every time we train somebody, they get a top-line summary of the most significant findings, and then they get a data dump of every single question that we analyze. So this is what you will see if you participate in Homeflow. You will get a report. You send me the data, and I send you back the report. It's fairly it's onerous on me. I have to do the data as far as the analysis. The conference, as I said, I went there. I presented the results. There was very good critical feedback. That's what I need. I think I have something good. I find out maybe not so much. You got to keep going back to the drawing board and getting it right. That's why I appreciate my colleagues so much, and that's why I encourage everybody to go to the conferences, whoever you participate with, listen and stand up in front of people and hear what they have to say. Contents, as I said, everything inside Homeflow, it's all right there. You get it all. It's yours for the taking to use. So if you're just going to use the PowerPoint presentation and you're not going to use the videos, that's your right. You get both options. So if you use the PowerPoint presentation, you'll never see my face. You'll just put up the PowerPoint presentation and you'll teach each segment. And you'll be the facilitator teacher, and you'll never have to see a video being pressed and clicked, and you'll just go through each one of the slides. It's well over 100 slides. You'll see my colleague's face, Dr. Harris, disappear because you know relationships and family, and you'll be teaching that. Or you'll be mixing and clicking back and forth. Some people presenting this know housing much better than relationships. So they'll present the housing part, then they'll toggle over to the video for Dr. Harris, or vice versa. Or they know finance better than relations. So you have all these options of toggling to the video, then presenting the PDF and or the PowerPoint for what you're more comfortable with. There's lots of options involved here. And we have Sarah Ellis, who's accredited financial. So it really depends where your comfort zone is. Make us go away and you take control, and it's your program with proper attribution to the University of Florida, but you can put your skin and your face on it, and then you take over. Or if you're not there yet, that doesn't mean you can't do the program. You just click on the video and you facilitate and you put in the contribution you can put in. Some people say, well, I don't get any annual at the end of the year. I can't report anything for just facilitating. You can put something in somewhere for all three of these components. You just don't have to stand there and say, okay, let's turn to this page and reinforce this in the workbook. Everybody out there can put something in. I'm convinced of it. So this is the actual brochure that advertises. It's free. Everybody can have this brochure, and you can put your logo, skin, whatever. You can put yours in with mine here so that you can actually have a little bit of ownership in here. I don't want you to have them registering and get more contact information from me. That doesn't make sense. This is your area. Put a little bit of contact information so that they will be contacting you. And it's a flip side. Is that Michael? Is that yours? Keyboard? Can you? I don't know if there's somebody's out there that's got a little background noise. If they can mute it, it's coming through on my.
It's not me, but whoever it is that's typing, if you could just mute your if you can mute your, there's an upper left-hand icon. It shows the microphone. If you can mute, just touch on that, mute that, that'd be great. Thanks.
Okay, great. All right, so this is I'm showing you a back of, it's just one page, so you're seeing the front page, and here's the back page. And this is Homeflow. So everything that's in Homeflow is right here. So if somebody says, I don't have time for this PowerPoint, just give me the down and dirty, well, it's right on the free brochure, and you know, it's a one-pager, so it's all sitting right in there for anybody to take a quick look at. All very professionally done, and thank goodness it went through our IFAS communications department, and as I said, it's been taken on as a pilot program, so I feel very, very fortunate. Unfortunately, they sort of took it away from me, and I don't have a lot of control over it. It went through the UF legal, and it's still mine, but I don't have a lot of control. So now you're seeing what's the Homeflow program in terms of the actual videos. So even though it says it's a 2-hour and 37-minute program, you are going to be stopping regularly to do the reinforcement of the workbook. So you'll have an introduction, you'll click on this, these are all live links. And in module 1, you'll have, it shows each time limit, scale, whatever, you can measure it all out. Then it shows you started off, you go into Dr. Harris's, the process of change. Then you go into mine, how a home breathes. These are all videos. It shows the time. And we tried to measure it so that it's not lopsided and it flip-flops back and forth with too much of any one particular discipline, so that they can, and it's not all one day of this and all one day of that. They get a fine mix of disciplines going back and forth. And we go back into housing. And we go back into relationships. We go over to module 2. And back into housing. I'm bad in the classroom, so I'm going to try and be cautious and careful here, but I'm still picking up the background noise, but as long as it's not bothering anybody else, we'll be fine. And then we're back over into Sarah's part, so we finally flip over into family finances, and she really does a fine job here. And then she starts going on to, you know, real life examples. We go out and we show in the house. This is where we get into the upgrades. This is where you can show them not just how to maintain, but how to step it up a notch. We talk about your tax returns, how you can, you know, all different methods of how you can step it up a notch. The whole idea is to reduce that utility bill, and that's an evaluation question. Back to the house, and then we get back to the evaluations. So I am going to light up an example for you, and this is if you are not quite there yet, or if you want to mix and match, this is what would happen. You're out there in the middle of nowhere. You would just simply say, okay, here we go. We're going to start the video of, I forget which video it is, how a house breathes. Switching gears from emotionally healthy because it breathes. I know that sounds a little different, but let's talk about how a home breathes. Here's the graphic, if I can out of your way. Here's all these design features the engineers and architects build in. You know, if you have a fireplace, maybe in Florida you may or you may not, but all these things poking up through your rooftop, these are design, breathing, ventilation systems. The home has to have a way to get air in. All right, I'm praying you get the drift. I'm not here to show you the home flow. We'll get into that at another time in another webinar, but so then you'll see, I believe, effective communications. We're flipping back and forth.
So let's talk about healthy family functioning, specifically with regard to communicating effectively. You can see that from some of the things that Dr. Cantrell talked about that there could definitely be a lot of communication issues around physical maintenance of the household. We want to talk about communication in general, so that regardless of what communication issues there are or what you have to talk about, you can negotiate conflict and you can communicate in effective ways. So as we think about communicating effectively, there's a workbook activity right now that we'd like you to do, and then we'll get back together.
And then you see, he just took a pause, and you take the pause as long as you want to take, and you work on that workbook activity as long as you want to take, and then you start it back up. So we paused in the video for 2 seconds over in the film crew. But did that come through okay as far as the sound level of those videos? Okay, I'm hoping that did. So, you know, you go over to your workbook, and this comes with the packet, the startup kit. So you have this workbook, and this goes home with each participant that goes through the course, and they keep it. It's a nice workbook for them to go back and review what they went through. So I'm just going to give a snapshot of what might, typical example of what might be in mine. You know, you kind of give them a little housing just to get them primed a little bit. There's much more drilling down, but this is just to kind of test them out a little bit and see where they're at in terms of how much they do and don't do some things around the house. In relationships, it's a little more open-ended, but and some of the open-ended feedback on the evaluations, they seem to really enjoy going through some of this relationship stuff. It's not my background, but you know, I'm not so proud that I'm not willing to admit that I'm glad to see the feedback telling me that relationships is a key to the Homeflow program. And then Sarah, God love her, she broke through. She brought color, she brought youth, she brought hair, she brought knowledge. She brings it all here.
So you just heard Dr. Cantrell, and he had some really good points there. Sounds really great, but our budget is a little tight, or my budget is tight. So how can we do these upgrades? Well, I'm going to talk a little bit about healthy family functioning and family finances. Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit here about components of financial stability. The first is setting financial goals, and this includes wise cash flow management. It's critical to setting financial goals and financial stability. First off, you want to set a spending plan that includes your goals and allows you to set money.
The thing I can say about Sarah is she is the only extension faculty in the state of Florida who can do housing. She's doing her master's with Dr. Harris in relationships, and she has her financial accreditation that she went ahead and got through her professional development. She can do the entire Homeflow program without a single video. She is my star player in the state of Florida for what I would love to see everybody, and yes, I'm saying it, put our faces away and everybody be able to do with Homeflow. You don't need our faces. This is your program. So here's the pocket fold out. This goes in your pocket. It's I think an 8-fold, whatever. It's a pocket size fold, and it just allows you to track what you're doing, how you're making your progress throughout the day. This is the one side on the top, and this is the back side on the bottom, and you keep track of things. It's you know, where do you stand? How are things moving along? This comes in the packet as well for your startup kit for each participant to take with them. This is the resource guide. This is what our Dean of Extension, Dr. Nick Place, was so inspired by, is instead of putting notes at the bottom of the slideshow, we know that's not going to work. So we take all the notes out. So verbatim, everything said in the videos is in this resource guide. So this resource guide is for the facilitator, the teacher of the program. So at night, if you're not overly thrilled with your ability to teach this course, all three facets of this course. You put your earbuds in, you read the Homeflow resources, and you teach yourself. And then you show on your professional development that you taught yourself relationships and family, and that you were comfortable with housing and finance, but now you no longer use the relationships video in Homeflow. You are fully up and running to teach the course all on your own. He loved the fact that you can teach yourself and wean yourself off the videos. Even if you start using at the beginning all three videos, you can eventually teach yourself the entire Homeflow program. It's all right there in that book. You see, we have the manual, old school way of doing the evaluations. We have to give everybody every option. And then, of course, with PDEC putting us online with Qualtrics as the pilot, this is absolutely the preferred method, because you're either going to be asked to input your participants' data. If you give them the paper data, they can do it on their smartphones, or if you have whatever, laptops, but 9 times out of 10, we're talking low income, what have you, they're probably going to do it on paper. So you're probably going to be spending a little bit of time, maybe an hour, you're just clicking through as fast as you can, putting this in, and then it comes to me directly, and then I do the report. I will compare your class to every class that's ever been done in Homeflow, and I will send you back a report of how your class for that particular date fared against every other class done, so that you can have some reporting. And again, our dean said that's where you're able to write grants and publications. He calls it the scholarship of extension. So he really enjoys that potential as well for everybody. And then this is the content of, really, you want to know what's inside Homeflow. This is a typical example that goes to our client. We'll call my number one client, Abijax. This report goes out to them, and I'm just going to show you what I call the top line summary. Behind the top line summary is a data dump. So every single item is always included in the data dump. You get every question asked, always put in the back of the report, but the top line summary only includes where there has been at least 100% increase in your class's knowledge gain, and where there has been 100% increase in the overall Homeflow program's knowledge gain, to show you how you compared to the rest. So for instance, here is a typical example, and obviously our sample size is small early on when we were working on this. These are, and the difference between I understand and I am confident is intent. We have follow-up surveys, but we also want to get at intent to change. So we ask, I understand, and then we follow it up with, I am confident. So we have pre and post questions. You ask the questions before and after the training, and you ask the exact same questions. I understand and I am confident. And confident is a higher degree of reliability. So you can see here, improving savings for the family, personal family well-being, heating and cooling, electricity and water. All these are confident. That's why they're in the top line report. But this is the one, these are the ones that I really get sort of intrigued. You know, how many low-income first-time homeowner candidates, we're talking about balanced air pressure. That's not common nomenclature people go around talking about, and they're confident. That to me sounds like we're making some strides. Indoor air quality. Somebody's picking up something that we really want to start making common knowledge. These people sit around because Habitat builds 3 homes, not just one where you're out there by yourself and people come and say, oh, look what they gave you. They build 3 homes. So people come over and they say, tell me how this happened. And they start talking about these things. Well, first of all, you got to understand about balanced air pressure. And they start explaining to their neighbors, you know, exterior home maintenance. You know, we're trying to spread this. We can't teach everybody. Let them teach their peers. And this Homeflow goes into everything. You know, you're talking about. I borrow from all of my colleagues: nutrition, everything, health, everything I can. And then here's Dr. Harris's family strength, helping others meet their needs. This one here, reducing conflict from occurring among occupants in my home. And then positive behavior with children. I get excited. So here's what you have inside at the UF-IFAS bookstore. When you go online, you'll see the content. So you have the option for, if you want the pretty CD. Personally, I think some of the laptops nowadays would prefer you to go with the flash drive because they don't accept the CD drive. The Homeflow workbook is there. The Homeflow pamphlets are there. And you can see in the startup kit, this is what will be sent to you if you order a startup kit. You will get either a CD or a flash drive. And on that, you have everything there at your disposal. You have all of the MP4, everything that I've been talking about is on that. That's our intellectual property. Everything is there. So you'll have your pamphlets, you'll have your workbooks, everything is there, but you'll either have to reproduce them and burn up your copy machine and get ugly black and white, or you'll get your kit that starts up with 10 nice glossy workbooks and 25 pamphlets. And then, of course, if you want to train more, you'll have to either order more or you'll have to reproduce them yourself. But we try to make sure you have these options. And they're all right there, supplementally sold at the bookstore. But they've taken these, it's when they say you've done a nice job, thank you, we'll take it from here. So the legal counsel takes it and the bookstore takes it and they say, it's our product now. You've done it on our time at our university, so thank you and good job. So that's where it's at. And of course, this will be recorded. It is being recorded, so you can pass it on to your colleagues to take a look if you'd like to. And I'm going to flick it over to the larger screen and see if there's anything I might be able to talk to folks about.
Also, if anybody has any questions, you can either unmute your microphone and ask them, or you can put it in the chat window, and then we will see it. So either one will work.
Yeah, I don't type real well, so any of that unmuting is real good for me.
Randy, I have a question. On the printing, do you know about what that runs for the just approximate printing cost?
From the bookstore itself?
Yeah.
Yes, those workbooks sell for $9.99 a piece, and the bundle of 25 fold-out pocket size sell for $9.99 a piece.
Fantastic. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? Well, Randy, do you have any last thoughts you want to give?
Just that anybody that wants to contact me, I am more than willing to figure out a way to get you up and running. I am probably going to be networking at the national level with Habitat, but I encourage you to try to contact your local affiliate with Habitat. But I don't want to leave the impression that we only work with Habitat. We have extension agents who are working with their local county government to work with first-time home buyers who are getting basically free down payment money. So anybody who is basically getting some sort of a government, how shall I say, subsidy to begin their first-time home buyer, they are very interested in using the Homeflow program. Also, we are finding that lenders who hold their own mortgages are interested in the Homeflow program, as well as builders who want to reduce callbacks are interested in the Homeflow program. So just keep your mind open as to who might benefit from this, because we haven't explored all options yet. So anybody who's interested in exploring these options with me, I'm still trying to figure out who the audience could be for this program.
Great. So Randy, thank you very much for this presentation. It's a great program. I know that many of the housing specialists that Randy and I work with have gone through this workshop at national housing conferences, and it's a very great program. And I want to reinforce what Randy says, that we are taking it national. So thank you all for being at this webinar. I am going to post the recording. It's going to be on our website, as Randy has on this slide, extensionhealthyhomes.org, and then I will also be sending him a copy that he can link to within the University of Florida Extension System. So I'd like to thank each of you for coming, and thank Randy for a wonderful webinar, and look forward to seeing each of you also at our upcoming webinars celebrating the rest of National Healthy Homes Month in June. Hopefully everybody will have a good day.
Thank you, Michael.